Welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. Another full day on the road driving, and so yet another hotel and another full day on the road awaits me tomorrow. But then I will be back at my own home. Yes. So I hope that this is not splotchy because the internet is not that good right here. So forgive me if it is blotchy. You might be able to see the television there through the mirror, and on the screen we have my Tennessee Lady Vols taking on Belmont. But that's not why I am doing this video. I'm doing this video to talk about Alyssa Thomas and Project B. I'm imagining by now you have heard that she has signed, along with Nneka Ogwumike, who was the first to sign with Project B. So now Alyssa Thomas has signed with this Saudi-laced league expected to launch in November of 2026. Now,
what's going on? Alyssa Thomas here with some exciting news. I am looking forward to joining Project B.
Now, when I heard this the other day, while I was in some other hotel, I posted on social media something about bully ball coming to Project B. And I'm going to be very blunt, as I always am, when it comes to Alyssa Thomas. This whole thing is really strange to me. So many conflicts of interest between the WNBA and CBA negotiations, and Unrivaled, and now Project B. I already did a video, and I'm sure other people have as well, talking about the Saudi money, which of course now they're like, oh no, that's just it's a partner. There's no Saudi money. And everybody's like, yeah, okay. But the whole thing with the money for a culture that doesn't treat women well, and the WNBA wearing their sexuality for some reason on their sleeves, and then the Saudi connection, that doesn't mesh. Be that as it may, apparently this league is going to pay big money, and that might be the deciding factor. Somebody says everybody has a price. I don't like to believe that, and I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. You think what you want to think about it. I have a feeling these players who are going to be collecting maybe $2 million don't really care what some people think about it. They're going to collect that money. But Alyssa Thomas, for me, it's bad enough to see the way she plays in the WNBA. And then in Unrivaled's inaugural season, I got to see how she plays in Unrivaled. And if you've ever heard me do live streams, hung out with us during live streams, I'm constantly calling her Mac Truck. I have been very open about the fact that I find her dangerous on the court. She can pass the ball, obviously. I'm not going to take away from that. Anybody who, has as many assists as she has, obviously can pass the basketball. But her style of play beyond her passing is not enjoyable basketball to me. She gets away with all kinds of stuff. Case in point, Napheesa Collier. Speaking of Napheesa Collier, I guess I shouldn't leave it there. Maybe there are some people who are new to the channel, welcome, and you don't know what I mean when I say Napheesa Collier. So in the playoffs, Alyssa Thomas was allowed to barrel through Napheesa Collier's leg, and then she was injured, and then Coach Shell Reeve went off, and then she was suspended and fined, and she could not coach what ended up being the Lynx final game. Just a mess. But that's one example of Alyssa Thomas. She is, again, in my opinion, dangerous. She uses bully ball tactics, and she gets away with them, which I find ridiculous and not fun to watch. And frankly, when I look at the players in the league right now who have potential to be not just the president of the league, But the future of the league and those players who are coming in, I'm looking at players like Caitlin Clark. I'm even looking at players coming up, your Hannah Hidalgos, your Olivia Miles, eventually coming up to the league, your Flageys. I want to see basketball like that. No, I don't want to leave out Paige Beckers. We want to see finesse. We want to see skill. We don't want to see somebody bully balling her way and hurting people. And that's what she does. And so now, not only does she do that in the WNBA, getting back to my point where I said, speaking of Nafisa Collier, Alyssa Thomas played in Unrivaled in the first season of Unrivaled. She cannot play unless something changes. She's not going to be able to play in Unrivaled because Unrivaled is in conflict schedule-wise with this new Project B. It runs at the same time. That new Project B doesn't overlap with the WNBA, although I still say there's a conflict of interest there because you had Nneka Ogwumike sign first with Project B, and Nneka Ogwumike is negotiating as president of the WNBPA, FGLYZ, whatever, right? I've already explained all that. Some people don't get it. I don't know what to tell you. If somebody is at the negotiating table trying to work out a CBA deal for the WNBA and yet tied to another league where really they have other options, unlike some other players, most players in the WNBA, conflict of interest, just like Nafisa Collier is a conflict of interest because she owns a different league. Well, now you got Alyssa Thomas, who is not going to be playing in Unrivaled if she's going to be going with Project B. And so it's just a huge mess. But a big mess to me is Alyssa Thomas playing in another league. And I'm imagining, unless something miraculous takes place, and I believe in miracles, but when someone like Alyssa Thomas gets away with the way she plays, now we're talking about this new league paying lots and lots of money, and they're bringing in people who are doing the same thing that Nafisa Collier and other players in the WNBA want us to believe they don't want to happen. At the exit interview, Nafisa Collier talked about the officiating. She blasted Kathy Engelbert, and we all have a problem with the officiating because we've seen it. Most of the WNBA players have not said a whole lot about the physicality in a negative way. They usually talk about it in a positive way. And we know that the officials allow that to happen. Alyssa Thomas is the exhibit A of the physicality, and I don't mean in a good way. And so here comes another league, and here comes the poster child of physicality in this other league. Like, do you guys want skilled, enjoyable basketball, or do you want some kind of Mack truck bully ball, whatever the league is? And we don't know the other, as it was reported, we don't know the other players who are also going to be on Project B. What are they like? Skill, finesse, or Mack truck bully ball? Whether it's the WNBA, whether it's Unrivaled, whether it's this Saudi-backed whatever Project B, we want to see good basketball. We want to see people like Caitlin Clark. We want to see the logo threes and the pinpoint passes. We want to see skill, and yet these leagues are popping up, and the physicality is metastasizing. It's like, come on, this is the year 2025, and you've got great talent coming up and great talent in the league. Let's not ruin it. Remember, Paige Beckers told us that when she was in college, she knew how to play solid defense. That when she came into the WNBA, she had to learn. She didn't have to learn how not to foul. She had to alter her game to learn to foul, to fit how the WNBA does things. And now, methinks it's just spreading other places. So not only do you have the money issue, not only do you have the conflict of interest, now you have this whole same spirit and type of play that a lot of these players beat their chest about, as if this is something that's going to draw and keep people, especially the new fans. Like, people always use that in a negative way. The new fans. Well, the new fans want to see good basketball, not this nonsense. And again, for those who say, oh, the WNBA was always like that. The WNBA was always, no, it wasn't. In the early days, they played solid basketball. It wasn't all this kind of stuff that's now just being spread across various leagues. It's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out with the CBA, with Unrivaled, with this Project B, and with players like Alyssa Thomas, who are just being pulled in every direction to reproduce after her kind. And by her kind, I mean, I'm using the expression reproduce after your kind. By her kind, I mean the type of ball that doesn't represent true skill. I give her the passing. I already said that. But the rest of that nonsense that she gets away with is dangerous. Can we get something? Can we get something different? That's my thought about the whole thing. That's my thought. I welcome yours. I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.